Good day, sir. I am Winston Pasiencia, and together with me in this report is Abby Gador. Our report is about The Self by George Herbert Mead, the process and context of selfhood. Excuse me. Um, and in the book of George Herbert Mead, he stated that the self has a character which is different from that of the physiological organism proper. So to further understand his statement, let us um, delve deeper. Um, the self has a character which is different from that of the physiological organism proper. So the character he is referring to that the self has is the sense of self-awareness, consciousness, and identity, while the physiological organism proper is our physical body. So to further understand, let us differentiate the body from the self. Since the common misconception about these two is um they are isa lang. Okay. So in his book, he stated that the body can be there and can operate in a very intelligent fashion without there being a self involved in the experience. He said that our body is capable of functioning or responding to various situation without the need of consciousness or self-awareness in that experience. Or in other words, the body or our body carry out certain tasks or responses without the individual being actively aware or consciously controlling the pressure. So the great example for this is um, driving as an experienced driver versus driving as a beginner driver. So the experienced driver checks the side mirrors, shift gears, and adjust the speed automatically without a strong sense of self, while beginner drivers do these actions with all their consciousness. So um, to understand this better, I'll explain it in Bisaya. So, ang experience na mga drivers do all these actions uh, automatically. Kumbaga, their body moves automatically while beginner drivers do all these actions parang estimatedly gina-estimate nila tama or gina-think nila wisely kung ang all these actions while driving with all their consciousness. On the other hand, he said that the self has the characteristic that it is an object to itself, and that characteristic distinguishes it from other objects and from the body. So it is the self, according to George Herbert Mead, it is the self who has a self-awareness and consciousness, unlike sa body kanina na our body is capable of functioning without the need of consciousness and self-awareness, while our body um well ourself um has the self-awareness and consciousness. Um Or in other words, the self is the individual's sense of identity, which encompasses thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and perception. So great example for this is every time we feel pain in our hand or any part of our body, the hand itself doesn't know it is in pain, but it is ourself who's fully aware that our hand is in pain since our body doesn't have self-awareness and consciousness. Um, he also stated that the self is something which has a development. It is not initially there at birth, but it arises in the process of social experiences and social activities. So according to him, our self is developed by our social experiences and social activity. Since these two factors, which is the social experiences and social activity, contributes self-development, person's identity, and social skills that builds up ourself. So in other words, through interactions or through those activities, our Example for social experiences are uh, traveling, attend social experiences, joining team sports, volunteering community events, participating in school activities, and many more. While social activities are traveling, attending festivals, and going to events, and many more. Okay, so next. George Herbert Mead also pointed out two general stages of self-development. Um, on stage one, looking glass self. This initial stage is when our sense of self is primarily shaped by perceptions of others. Um, so his explanation to this is the individual's self is constituted simply by an organization of the particular attitudes of other individuals toward himself and toward one another in the specific social acts in which he participates with them. So, in short, in this stage, our sense of self is formed by how we imagine others see us. Next is stage two, or the final stage. It is the full development stage. So, in the full development stage, um, our self is constituted not only by an organization of these particular individual attitudes, but also by an organization of the social attitudes of the generalized other or the social group as a whole to which he belongs. Okay. Next part of our report will be continued by Abigail. Thank you, sir.